This is no one from nowhere, and you are, and I am a spirit of God. Today I want to talk to you about the Anunnaki story of Enlils' deal with the devils, Azazel, Harut, and Samyaza, Marut. First, a joke. Why should you always look at the fine print? Because the devil is in the details. First, I take you to Matthew 4:8-10. The temptation. The devil Satan then took Jesus up to a very high mountain and displayed before him all the kingdoms of the world in their magnificence, and promising to Jesus, "All these will I give you if you bow down and pay homage and worship me, Satan." At this moment, Jesus said to Satan, "Away with you, Satan. Scripture has it that you shall do homage to the Lord your God, and him alone shall you adore." Next, I want you to ponder only these questions and see where you may stand or have stood. Do you serve money or God? Do you lust other women or men? Have you committed adultery? Do you watch porn? Do you overconsume foods? Do you use illegal drugs? Do you overdrink, oversmoke? Have binges, including pills, video games, and gambling? Do you have to wear certain clothing or jewelry with certain symbols? Do you have to look a certain way, including your hair, nails, and makeup? Do you have to drive a certain kind of car? Do you have to live in a certain kind of house? Do you think you have to keep up with your friends and neighbors? Are you lazy? Do you rely on others, including the government, for your needs? Do you get angry, have rage, seek revenge with hatred? Do you consider self-destruction or suicide? Do you like it when others have problems? Do you consider the corporations of the world, the giants, or the Nephilim in Genesis 6:4? Do you like strife? Do you have envy? Do you idolize pro sports players, actors, rock and roll bands, and other leaders in the world? Do you need religion as a buffer to go to God? Do you like strife, conflict, and war? Are you perverted in thought? Are you selfish? Are you vain? Do you put your desires before the needs and wants of other people that you may or may not love? Is it your business what I think of you? And is it my business what you think of me? At any rate, it's good to have a good clean inventory of the 7 deadly sins of Satan or Azazel and Samyaza, i.e., lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. Next, I take you to 2 Peter 2:4. Did God spare even the angels who sinned? He did not. He held them captive in Tartarus, consigned them to the pits of darkness to be guarded until the day of judgment. Do you know who Harut and Marut is? Do you know how these 2 fallen angels compare to Azazel and Samyaza? Is there practice of black magic and sorcery still going on today? Do you recognize this magic? Are these 2 compared to the jinn or unseen forces of malevolence and evil? Do you think that they exist, and how? Is Azazel equal to Harut? Is equal to Satan? Is Satan one of the Ben Ha-Elohim? Yes, in my opinion, Azazel is Satan, and Samyaza is Marut, found in the book of Enoch, and can be compared to Marut and Harut from the Islam. Next, I take you to the book of Enoch 6:3. And Samyaza, or Marut, who was their leader, said to them, I fear that you may not wish this deed to be done, and that I alone will pay for this great sin. Enoch 8, and Azazel, or Marut, or Satan, taught men to make swords and daggers and shields and breastplates, and he showed them the things after those and the art of making them, like bracelets and ornaments, and the art of making up the eyes, and of beautifying the eyelids, and the most precious stones, and all kinds of colored dyes, and the whole world was changed. And there was great impiety, or no reverence for God, and much fornication, and they went astray, and all their ways became corrupt. Enoch 9:6 through 9:8. See what Azazel, Satan, has done. He has taught them all the immoral behavior on the earth, and has revealed the eternal secrets that are only made in heaven. And Samyaza has made known spells, magic, witchcraft, and to whom you gave authority to rule over those who are with him. And they went into the daughters of men together, lay with those women, became unclean, and revealed to them these sins. So what's the backstory of this? And what can possibly be the early beginnings of these two fallen angels? Before we do this, you need to realize that if you want to realize what or who the planet controllers are, or the Illuminati, the Illumin ones, all you need to do is follow the money trail and go to where the biggest industries are, because this is what these fallen angels taught, is not only the secrets of heaven, but also how to put magic attached to the secrets and control humanity, or you. And this could be the entire reason why Jesus was homeless. Or simply put, if you don't want to participate in this evil, you have to let go of this world. First off, Allah is Enlil, also Yahweh and Jesus. Nana Sin, his son, means bearer of power. He is also known for Allah, Yahweh, and Jesus, because he is the grand architect of three major religions. He was born on earth to the chief of command, Enlil and Ninlil. His temple was the Ikesh Nugal, or great house, or throne seed. He introduced the calendars to the Sumerians. His city was in Ur, and later Haran. Just like Abraham, the founder of the three mainstream religions. Azazel equals to Harut, and Samyaza equals Marut. And these are two angels mentioned in the Quran, who are described as having been present during the reign of Solomon, and as being located in Babylon. According to some narratives, these two angels were in the time of Idris, or the biblical Enoch. The Quran indicates that they were on a trial for the people, and through them the people were tested with sorcery. In the Quran, the two angels are briefly mentioned as follows. When there has come to them a messenger from Allah, God or Enlil, confirming what was with them, a party of them were given the book, reject, the book of Allah behind their backs, as though they knew not. They followed what the Satans gave out in the kingdom of Solomon. Solomon did not disbelieve, but the Satans disbelieved, teaching them magic and such things that came down upon the two angels in Babylon, Harut and Marut. But neither of these taught anyone, till they had said, "We are only here on a trial, so do not disbelieve." And from these, people learn that by which they cause separation between a man and his wife, but they could not thus harm anyone except by the leave of Allah. And they learn in which harms them and profits them not. And indeed they knew that the buyers of the magic would have no share in the hereafter. And how bad indeed was that for which they sold their own selves, if they but knew. The angels were astonished in the acts of disobedience committed by the human beings on earth, claiming they would do better than them. Therefore God Enlil challenged the angels to choose two representatives among them who would descend to earth and be endowed with bodily desires. During their stay on earth, they fell in love with a woman named Zorah, and she is identified with Ishtar and Venus. She told them she would become intimate with them if they joined her in idolatry and tell her how to ascend to heaven. The angels thus refused and remained pure. Later they met her again, and the woman this time stated she would become intimate with them if they drank alcohol. The angels thought that alcohol could not cause great harm, and therefore they accepted the condition. After they were drunk, they became intimate with Ishtar, and after noticing a witness, they killed them. On the next day, Harut and Marut regretted their deeds, but could not ascend to heaven anymore due to their sins. As their link to the angels was broken, their wings clipped. Thereupon God asked them, either their punishment shall be in this world or in the hereafter. They chose to be punished on earth, and therefore were sent to Babylon, or Babel, as a test, teaching humans magic, but not without warning them that they were just a temptation. May Allah Enlil be pleased with him, pertaining to Allah's statement. They followed what the devils gave out, the false magic, in this lifetime. And Solomon did not disbelieve, but the devils disbelieved, teaching men magic and such things that came down out of Babylon to the two angels, Harut and Marut. But either of these two angels taught anyone such things till they had said, "We're only here for a trial, so disbelieve not by learning this magic from us." And it goes on that Solomon lost his kingdom, great numbers from among mankind, and the jinn renegated and followed their lust. But when Allah Enlil restored to Solomon his kingdom, and the renegades came to follow the straight path once again, Solomon seized their holy scriptures, which he buried underneath his throne. Shortly after, Solomon died, and in no time the men and the jinn uncovered the buried scriptures and said, "This book was a book revealed by Allah to Solomon, who hid it from us." They took it as their religion, and Allah Enlil, the Almighty, revealed as saying, "And when there came to them a messenger from Allah, confirming what was with them, a party of those were given the scriptures and threw away the book of Allah behind their backs, as if they did not know, and they followed the angels, devils, out, blocking Allah Enlil." So who is Samyaza and Azazel? Samyaza is the leader of the Watchers. The chief is Azazel, or Satan. Next, we will discuss the fallen angel leader Samyaza and Azazel. Samyaza means he sees the name, or I have seen. In the book of Enoch, one of the cryptical writings, Samyaza is portrayed as a leader of a band of rebellious fallen angels, or renegade sons of God, called the Watchers, who, because they become consumed with lust for mortal women and entered into machinations against heaven in order to consummate their sinful desires, in which they fell. In the Quran, Book of Giants, Samyaza, through this forbidden prostitution, fathers two half-breed giant sons, Oye and Haye. When the rebel angels first met upon Mount Hermon to organize their secret society of 200 members, Samyaza, as their recognized chieftain, under Azazel, who had rebelled against God and the heavenly host, initially doubts the initiative, resolves to forswear heaven. This they had planned to achieve through dark combination and clandestine oaths under the penalty of death, thereby binding themselves to that treachery in which they would use their heaven-acquired knowledge to create a counterfeit religion on earth to satisfy their lust and carnal desires. Which religion is this, and whom is openly caught up in pedophilia, who also practices witchcraft and openly practices cannibalism and drinking the blood and eating the body of a god that never walked the earth? Next, I take you to Enoch 6, 4 through 5. And they all answered him and said, "Let us swear an oath and bind ourselves by mutual curses, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing in." Then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual curses upon it. The seeds of Satan are introduced to the human race by the fallen angels. Thus, having convinced the Watchers, the other Watchers, to join him in fornicating with women, Samyaza continues to collude and to plot with these other sinful plans to seduce females from the human tribes. The result offspring from this unnatural prostitution and breeding are called giants, referred to as the Nephilim in the book of Genesis 6:4. Together they dominate, murder, and exploit the inferior races of men, beginning in the days of the righteous Sethite patriarch Jared, the father of the prophet Enoch. Their debauchery, therefore, rising to new heights. And there was great impiety and much fornication, and they went astray, and all their ways became corrupt. In 1 Enoch 8, 1 through 2. Enoch, in his sleep vision that has been called the animal apocalypse from the book of dreams, saw heaven above, and behold, Enoch 86, 1 through 6, a star from heaven, Azazel, and it arose and ate and pastured amongst those oxen, the righteous Sethites, descendants of Adam's son Seth. And after this I saw the large and the black oxen, or the wicked Cainites, descendants of Adam's son Cain. And behold, all of them changed their pens, and their pastures, and their heifers, or women, and they began to moan, or breed, one after the other. And again I saw in this vision, and looked to heaven, and behold, I saw many stars, how they came down and were thrown down from heaven to that first star, Azazel, whom they worship, and who taught them heaven's secrets. And amongst their heifers and bulls, or humankind, they were with them, pasturing amongst them. And I looked upon them, the watchers, and saw, and behold, all of them let out their private parts like horses, and began to mount the cows of the bulls, or the daughters of men. And they all became pregnant, and bore elephants and camels and asses. And all the oxen, or humankind, feared them, and were affrighted at them. And they began to bite with their teeth, and to devour, and to gore with their horns. And they, the watchers, and their giant sons, began moreover to devour those oxen, or the righteous and wicked alike. And behold, all the children of the earth began to tremble and quake before them, and to flee from them. But perhaps the watcher's most grievous sin was to teach and instruct humankind blasphemously in various forbidden art sciences and celestial secrets or mysteries of the true heavenly gnosis or knowledge, especially that wisdom possessed by Azazel Satan, who taught them also the secrets of war, from magic, metallurgy, and weaponry, to seductive ornamentation, jewelry, and cosmetics, all which ultimately, though not surprisingly, brings down the wrath of God. Enoch 10:9, and to Gabriel said the Lord, proceed against the biters and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication and the children of the watchers from amongst men, and cause them to go forth, send them one against the other, that they may destroy each other in battle, for the lengths of days they shall not have. Finally, the judgment of the watchers and associates of Samyaza is described in Enoch 10:11 through 14. And the Lord Enlils said unto Michael, who is also Nanasin, go bind Samyaza and his associates, who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the days of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison, in which they shall be confined forever, and moreover shall be condemned and destroyed, will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations. The key question is how long is 70 generations? Once the archangels and the host of righteous has rained war and destruction upon the watchers and giants, God caused after several generations the great flood of Noah to wipe out the corrupt remnant of the earthly races. For when the eternal covenant and eternal law had been broken in the fallen angels' revelation to the profane creatures of the earth of heaven's sacred knowledge, lawlessness ensued, which corrupted and destroyed. But after the flood of judgment, God Enlil removed the lawless ones that came from the perverted knowledge, and restored again his covenant with Noah, or Zuasudra Utnapishtim, and his sons, returning fertility and harmony back to the creation. Do you think this is still going on today? In global proportions. Today I leave you with Ephesians 6:11 through 12. Put on the full armor of God, so that you may be able to stand firm against the tactics of the devil. Our battle is not against human forces, but against the principalities and powers, the rulers of this world of darkness, the evil spirits in its regions above. What did Bill Murray say when he saw Satan? I ain't afraid of no goat. Peace be with you. And always remember that you are, and I am, a spirit of God. Peace and love to you.